topic of queerness, I took like a massive break from correcting people, like from telling people that I'm non-binary, correcting people in my pronouns. My pronouns are they, them, not she, not her. I don't like saying identify because people think that you're like putting a suit on and taking it off. But for who I am, like gender titles don't align for me. It's not who I am, so I don't like. Also, one of the things I really don't like is being called girl. Even in context, people are like, girl, like it actually irritates me so much. But yes, I took a massive break from being bothered telling people or correcting people when it came to saying, like, if I was misgendered, if someone called me she or her, I just like wouldn't be bothered. I'd say like I did this for like probably a year or so. Like I was just tired. I was tired of correcting people. I was tired of correcting people and people acting guilty when it's like, just keep it moving, correct yourself and keep it moving. I was tired of people making it a big deal and making like how they felt about misgendering me more of an issue than like how I'm feeling. I was tired of feeling like a burden when I did bring my pronouns up or correct people that were making excuses like, oh, I can't do that, or I'm too old. I'd be rich if I had a fucking dollar for every time someone told me that they're too old to get my pronouns correct. If you are able to be in community and connection with me and you're not too old to do that, then you're not too old to relearn. If you're alive and living, I really believe that you are never too old to change a habit, pattern, or a mindset, you know? I think it's just a big excuse. Yeah, I just got really, really tired of having to continuously explain myself and then be like, or people like rolling their eyes, or I've literally been in friendships like, well, this is like years back when I first came out as non-binary, and correcting like one of my closest friends. They said to me, like, why does it matter to you so much if you know who you are? Why does it matter if I'm like messing up your pronouns? And I was just like, you're supposed to be like my best friend. This is in my 20s, coming out to another friend that I was non-binary, and you know, everyone's like allowed to feel how they feel, but they kind of grieved like that I wasn't a woman, or that I realized I wasn't, or whatever. They were like somehow mad at me for the day. These are things not to do. You know, it really takes us a lot to come out, to say what we need to say, to be in our truth. Especially when you're like feminized, femme presenting, or whatever, you know that people are going to have some major blocks with accepting you as you are because of conditioning, and it's so deep rooted. Like, I don't have to dress androgynous or start dressing like more masculine for you to believe that I'm non-binary. Like, I don't have to dress a certain way. Like, being non-binary is about my insides, it's about my spirit and who I believe I am, and also how I show up in the world. Meaning that I don't fit into the category of woman or whatever a woman is supposed to do or be. And I never have prescribed or assigned to that, and it's never resonated with me. I remember when I first learnt about being non-binary, like I knew I was queer, but then that language began to simmer in the collective. And I instantly clicked. The first time I heard it, I literally was like, that's me. And I had no hesitation in myself knowing that that was who I was. Me about like a year to maybe speak that to someone else and to be comfortable enough to share that and feel safe. And even then, it was only a couple people. It's really important, like if you have queer or particularly non-binary friends, and you are used, and they come out and you're used to how they have been, or that you check yourself, like, grief is normal. So if you need to grieve, do so, but then you need to reflect on exactly what you're grieving, because the person has been the person the whole time. There's really isn't anything to grieve. It's only actually the person should be celebrated for finding the language, no matter whether it's in English or not, to be able to say who they are. It's an accomplishment to be able to be like, oh my God, I found myself in a deeper level. This is me. Not to constantly be critiqued or judged or denied or further neglected. Like, I don't think people realize, especially those within the binaries of gender, women and men, don't realize how much they do this. It even comes through in like the jokes with pronouns and stuff. Like, I know, like, it's okay to laugh at things, but I also think that like people just don't take shit seriously. Oh, my pronouns are, and saying a random thing that doesn't have anything to do with gender. Like, yeah, these things can be funny, and it's funny if you're queer and you're doing it, but if you're not, it's just kind of portrays a narrative that you, again, are stuck within like binary conditioning, and you don't take that shit seriously. And it's interesting when people are like, oh, I'm just going to identify as a bag, or I'm going to identify as an animal. We're not saying that we don't have certain chromosomes, but we're saying that the way that we operate in the systems and the structures and society is not in a binary, literally a binary. Like I think of binder, like even like a folder, like is not like to the book. Like, if there were things that a woman is, I probably and don't fit into those things, and never will and never have. And I'm okay with that, but are you? I honestly think that so many gender conforming people would realize that they're actually not, if they really did some deep diving. I think I said in my last video that it's like really challenging and uncomfortable when you first confront it, but it's also about being brave enough to be yourself, and also brave enough to like accept, or I don't know if it's brave, but maybe it is in this day and age, but being brave enough to accept that accept other people for who they are. Even when you are non-binary and queer and you know it, things and society and people will still be chucking and projecting onto you that you're not, you don't know who you are. So tiring. Or like, who you are doesn't exist. Like, it's extremely tiring. So if you have queer and non-binary friends, make sure that you're supportive in the ways of correcting people for them, because half the time I would say that, like, as a non-binary person, I don't correct someone when they misgender me because I'm tired. So if you clock it, you don't need to wait for someone else to tell you to correct. Just do it. Like, it is your responsibility as someone's friend that is queer or non-binary, especially if you're not yourself. Stand up for your queer and non-binary friends, especially when others are giving them shit or playing in their face, or like saying underhand comments and stuff, because these things happen all the time, or just displaying like a lack of understanding. There are things that you can say that can ease situations and social experiences. I think a while back I had friends be like, oh, I didn't know if you wanted me to correct the person if it was going to make you feel uncomfortable. I mean, to each their own, but for me personally, I'm like, correct them, B. Like, what the hell? Do I even tell you? If I've come out as this, then yeah, correct them. Of course I want you to correct them. And I'm not sure if everyone else wants that. It's good to ask. I'm grateful for having friends in the past that asked me, like, and don't wait till your queer or non-binary friend brings it up themselves. Like, if you can sense that they've been uncomfortable, or a moment was awkward, then take initiative to ask yourself, hey, did that make you feel uncomfortable back then? And if it didn't, they're going to tell you, nah, that was all good. And you're going to move on. Like, these are the kinds of conversations that you or we need to have for there to be understanding. And it shouldn't always be up to the person, say the queer person or the non-binary person or gender non-conforming person, to initiate the conversations. Take initiative to learn where you don't understand, where you don't know. We should be doing that in the world in general. So yeah, I hope this helps.